What's up, art fans? My name's Jesse and I'm an artist out of Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to Studio Sessions. So today we are talking about rejection. Yay! But we're talking about a specific type of rejection. We're talking about rejection before payment, before sketching. We're talking about kind of the daily rejection that we deal with as artists. Now, no matter where you are in your art career, whether you're a full-time artist, part-time artist, or somebody who's just trying to make ends meet, rejection is a part of our daily life. So as creatives, we have to recognize that rejection is not a rejection of who we are, right? It is a job, okay? So when you become an artist, unfortunately, part of what happens is that you become a contractor in a way. And contractors bid for jobs and sometimes they get rejected. So I used to view rejection as rejection of me as a person, right? My artwork is so directly tied to who I am as a person that when those rejections would come, it would hurt. And so I didn't apply for a lot of things, and my career started to kind of dwindle. So I had to put myself out there. I had to go after things a lot more. And that meant that I have to deal with a lot more rejection. So I'm here to share some of those rejections with you so that maybe you don't feel so alone, or maybe if you don't know how to interact with rejection, that this will be helpful. So once again, this is rejection before any type of payment or any type of work like a sketch or anything like that has been made, okay? So rejection falls into two camps. You've got a very clear, clean-cut rejection, and then you've kind of got that unclear, ambiguous rejection that you're just like, okay, do you, don't you, what's going on? So we're gonna give you some examples of the clear-cut rejection that are awesome, and then we're going to talk about some of the examples that I've got of those ambiguous rejections that leave you wondering and scratching your head. But overall, again, I want you guys to know rejection isn't personal. It's all how you take it and how you look at it. So this video is encouraging you to take rejection and look at it in a completely different way, and that is as a rung on a ladder to overcome. Rejection is not about you. Rejection is about the project or the work or the job at hand. And whether it's professional or private, you don't always know the reason that the rejection is happening. Sometimes they let you know, but you don't always know the reason. So just take that into account and remember that when you are dealing with rejection, you don't always know why, and you don't always have to know why, okay? So if you look at rejection in the way that I do as an opportunity to just make things a little bit better and figure out how to dial in a little tighter, then that's what we'll be talking about today. So some of my examples of a clear-cut rejection come typically from request for qualifications. Those are forms that you fill out that are public opportunities for art projects, and they will almost always have a date where they will notify the artist. So it's a scheduled process. You can typically expect either on a day or within a bracket of time to receive one of these letters that you've either been accepted or rejected from a project. So here are some really good examples of those. This first one here is my favorite example of a rejection letter. On behalf of this business, we would like to thank you for submitting to the call for their mural project and for your patience while they deliberate their submissions. Their jury has provided us their selections, and ultimately your submission was not selected as a finalist for this project. We appreciate your time, effort, and attention that it takes to submit to calls, and value your willingness to engage in this process. We encourage you to keep a lookout for several new calls to be announced in the coming weeks, etc., etc. So, fantastic example of a rejection letter. They let you know, hey, we know what it takes to put these submissions in. We reviewed it. You were not selected, but we really, really appreciate it, and keep a lookout because there's opportunities in the future. So it's a great, great rejection sandwich. I wish all rejection letters were like that, but they're not quite. So we're going to give you another example of one that came from an RFQ, another professional setting, but this one is a little bit more straight, concise, to the point. Still professional, but, not as personable. So, hello. After receiving a multitude of submissions received for the project, I am sorry to inform you that you were not selected as a finalist for this project. We truly appreciate your submission and wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. So, not super friendly or personable, very to the point, but professional enough. That's, what you're going to expect, I'd say, most of the time, when you're dealing with companies or whatnot. So, here is a third example. So this is an example of somebody who I was working with. I had done a site visit. I had done a brainstorm session on what to put together for the sketch. And I'd been in communication with these folks, but we had not gotten to the actual sketch and down payment process. So the email I had sent right up to this one was basically letting them know, hey, I'm ready to start the sketch. Here's how we do the down payment. Yada yada, let me know how you want to move forward. And this was the email that I got that let me know very clearly that we were not moving forward with the project. I appreciated this email, and here's what it said. So it says, hey Jesse, I apologize for this, but due to some concept changes we are making over this summer, we are going to have to postpone doing the mural after all. I will keep in touch with the changes and possible future dates for getting something done. Once again, sorry for the inconvenience. Talk soon. So this is not personal, right? They were putting a concept together. They decided they wanted to make some changes over the summer, and they let me know right before they pulled the trigger on doing this mural. So I'm really thankful that they had enough foresight to say, hey, let's pump the brakes on this a little bit. He did not promise me that they will bring me back or that their new concept will require any type of artwork. He alluded to maybe. So I'm not going to hold my breath on this one. I sent a reply email that just said, hey, thanks, hope to work with you in the future. And I really appreciate this guy. But again, he's not on my board as far as, projects. I'm not going to hold my breath for him. And it was a very clear cut letting me know of like, hey, we're not moving forward. So those are some examples of clear-cut rejection. Some that I didn't read here might be something like a budget, right? Where, you have a budget and it doesn't match up with their budget. You might not be the right fit for the project. They want you to do something and you're just like, hey, I don't do that. That's not who I am. Or whatever. There's a lot of other reasons that it might be a clear-cut rejection, but those are just some of the things that you're going to encounter when you're out there, and they're very professional ways of being rejected. So those are the types of things I love and appreciate and value. And now we're going to get into some of the more unclear, ambiguous rejections, right? Now, some of these, again, they fall into the category of do you, don't you, why'd you reach out, like what's the deal? But I encourage you not to linger on these types of rejections, okay? So typically the etiquette for these is a 3 to 7 day time frame, all right? So I'm just laying the etiquette out for you right ahead of time before we get into some of these examples. So if somebody reaches out to you, you've got about 3 to 7 days to reply, depending on, if it's a holiday weekend or kind of what's going on. You're going to need to assess, right? So 3 to 7 days to reply. I reply a lot faster than that, but I reply usually same day. But again, you might be on vacation, there might be mitigating circumstances, so let's just say 3 to 7 days from the time that you receive a message that you need to reply. They are given the same grace. If you reply, they are given 3 to 7 days, right? So if they have not replied in that 3 to 7 days, it's pretty much over. So, you don't want to linger on asking and re-asking and whatnot, oh, hey, and da-da-da. Like, just give yourself a time frame, and if there is no communication within that bubble, move on, okay? It will help you. It will free you up to focus on other projects, all right? And if they bounce back after that time, that's all fine, but if there's been other projects that have gone in the mix before them, then, that's just how the cards fall. So we're going to talk about some examples here. Here is one where it was just like a single platform, kind of already a red flag, had me feeling a little weird, but this guy reaches out from a restaurant that was opening up around the corner from me, and it through Instagram, and just says, "Hello, do you do large-scale murals as well?" Yeah, buddy, have you looked at my Instagram? Like, so immediate red flag. If you look at my Instagram, it's almost all murals. At Mr. Downtown Phoenix, by the way. So I replied the same day, and I said, "Hey there, thanks for reaching out. Yes, I do large-scale murals." So I saw that they had seen that message, and then they did not reply. So again, I put the ball in their court. I replied same day. I saw that they had seen the message. They did not reply. That's the end. Moving on. So this is another example of a kind of single platform ghosting. So this guy reached out to me via Instagram and says, "Hey there, I own this company. I absolutely love your artwork. I'd love to commission a mural for the block walls around my house. Would love to discuss details about pricing. Thank you and hope to hear back." Great. I replied the next day, about 12 hours later, and I say, "Hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I'd love to discuss a project with you. If you'd like to send me an email with a photo of the wall in question along with measurements, we can discuss pricing and a concept. My email is," I gave him my email, and this person replies, says, "Awesome, thank you so much, will do." Okay, so I said, "Hey, you know, here it is." They say that they're going to do it. All right, and I give them a lengthy amount of time, and the 7 days, right? I hear nothing back, and I reply on Instagram. I say, "Hey sir, just wanted to follow up on our previous conversation. No worries if you've been busy. We can always schedule a time for me to come out and get some measurements for your wall if that works better. Cheers." So I realized that maybe they didn't have the ability to take a photo and get the dimensions of the wall, so I reply and I say, "Hey, I understand if you're busy, I can schedule a time with you to come out and do that." I give them the option, and absolutely nothing, no reply, and so we gave them the 7 days and we move on. So that's just kind of how it goes. You know, a little bit of a bummer because it seemed like it was going to be cool. They had a cool concept. But let's move on to one that gets a little bit more intricate. So here, this person reached out, and we had a lengthy conversation over several different platforms. So let's talk about where that one goes. So this person reached out via Instagram. I've got a bedroom wall. And you know, they describe it, and they talk about what they want on this bedroom wall, and I say, "Hey, thanks for reaching out. I'd love to discuss a project. Let's schedule a time for a call. What's your schedule like next week?" Right? I typically prefer calls. It gives, you know, if they don't, people are not always wanting to do site visits, so I offer up a phone call. He replies the same day, says, "That's awesome. I'm pretty open next week. Let me know what works best for you." Okay? I reply, same day. I say, "Okay, great, I can totally work with that. Let's talk on Tuesday at 11 a.m. I give him my phone number. "Sounds great, I'll call you then." He does call me then. We have about a 15 or a 20-minute conversation about the walls that he wants done for his kids. We talk about the company that he works for, and basically a lengthy conversation about all of the different work that he wants done, and then I craft an email that outlines our conversation and gives him an estimate, right, based on the 3 walls, and I let him know, can work with a budget, we can make some adjustments, whatever. Leave it very open-ended. No reply. No reply to the email. My initial worry that I'm sure all of you worry about that stuff is, did they get the email, right? So now I have 3 platforms I've talked to this person on. We've got Instagram, we've had a phone call, and I've sent an email. All right, so we've got 3 platforms. So 7 days go by. I go ahead and I send an email. I don't send a text message, but I do also send an Instagram, right? And I just say, hey sir, just wanted to follow up. I sent you an email a couple weeks back, but didn't get a reply, so I wasn't sure if you received it. No worries if you don't want to pull the trigger, just wanted to do my diligence and circle back. Cheers. Okay, so basically what I've done there is I've done my diligence as an artist. I have replied, I've acknowledged the follow-up, I've acknowledged our previous conversation, and I've acknowledged the fact that hey, you might be busy, there might be other circumstances, but I'm just letting you know that you asked me about a project, we had a lot of conversations about it, and then just nothing. So it leaves you scratching your head, it leaves you wondering, and it leaves you a little frustrated, right? But again, I don't know what's going on in this person's life. I don't know what the deal is, and I know that this person saw that message on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that they saw the email, and I know that they're aware of the 3 separate conversations that we had about all of these projects. So clearly there's something going on, and I've just got to let it go. But these are some of the things that you're going to run into as far as rejection goes, right? You're going to have weird ghostings. You're going to have, and I don't really know what it's about, if it's a part of our culture or if it's a part of how humans have always been. I don't know. But it's one of those things where I have other things to do, and I can't have you wasting my time, but it's not always a waste of time, right? So essentially, in order for it not to be a waste of time, you have to put brackets on it. You have to put a time frame on it that says, I'm going to care about it for this long, and then once that time has expired, you don't care about it anymore. So that's basically what I've been doing. It's how I've been dealing with rejection, because when you can get past those rejections and you can focus on the things that are more positive and the acceptances and the things that are coming your way, then more acceptance and abundance and things, and it flourishes in that type of environment. So I'm fully aware that there's a lot of things that I didn't talk about when it comes to rejection. There's probably a lot of avenues that artists go out and seek jobs that they don't get answers for, right? And I'm sorry if I didn't touch on those, but I'd say that we kind of went over some of the basics here and what to expect and why rejection happens. But I would be remiss if I didn't also talk about what acceptance look like, right? So I just got this one, which is really nice, and it says, "Good afternoon. I'm pleased to share that you have been selected as a finalist for this project. So you have until the end of the month to develop and submit electronically the site-specific proposal for this public art committee to review. All finalists will receive a stipend following the submittal. Additional feedback and guidelines, yada, yada, yada. Congratulations, and we look forward to reviewing your submissions." So again, rejection is a part of the game, but for all the 10 or 20 or 30 rejections that you get, you're gonna get an acceptance letter, and it makes that acceptance feel that much better, right? So don't focus on rejection. Give it a time frame that it matters professionally to you, and then let it go, all right? Because it'll never help you. We have a short amount of time on this planet, and we shouldn't focus on what doesn't work for us. We should absolutely give our attention to the things that want us to flourish and want us to grow and want us to become more. Okay, so again, as an artist, I know it can feel personal, it can hurt, and it can suck. But I want you to know that your value as an artist, as a person, as an individual, does not fall on the shoulders of other people. Okay, it falls on what you do in the face of those moments. Do you lay down? Do you cry? Or do you get back up? And you keep fighting another day? Because that's what it takes. And I know that you can do it. I absolutely know that you can do it because I'm doing it. And the truth is, it's a struggle. And there might not have been anybody out there to tell you that rejection happens and it happens consistently, but it does. It happens all the time. And it's how you view it and it's how you deal with it. It's a part of life. So mold it, figure out what doesn't work and why it doesn't work, and then make some adjustments and try again. But anyways, guys, I hope this has been somewhat informative, and I appreciate you sitting all the way through it. If you're liking this series, hit that like and subscribe button. I am trying to grow the channel. And, I'm always interested in hearing what you guys think. If there's some topics that you want to go over, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But, follow me on Instagram at Mr. Downtown Phoenix, and you can always check out my website, shinethroughart.com, and I'll catch you at the next one.